Hi, good morning. So for today we'll discuss about basic concepts in communication. So as we all know, communication is very important especially for students nowadays. Okay, let's start. Okay, number one we have the purpose. Okay, so when we say purpose, it is the reason, the plan, the intention, your objective, our mean, and of course, goal. So, in short, when we say purpose, it is the overall reason why you're doing the thing or things in the first place. Just like in communication. So, sa Tagalog, kung bakit ka nga ba nakikipag-communicate in the first place. Of course, there's a reason behind why you're communicating. Just like, Dave, bakit ba ako nakikipag-communicate? It's because for you to learn more things. Just like purposive communication. Okay? Next we have communication. Okay, so communication, when we say communication, it is exchanging information. So it involves a sender and a receiver. Wherein when we say sender, he or she is the one who will send the message. While on the other hand, receiver is the one who will receive the message. Okay, so that's very clear. Okay, and communication, we have this thing called medium, wherein your message can be sent through letter, telephone call, technology such as radio, wireless, and electronic communication. So obviously, medium depends on a person and at the same time, it depends on the receiver. Okay? So overall, purposive communication is about writing, speaking, and presenting to different audiences for various purposes just like what I have mentioned earlier. So, ang importante dito is that before ka makipag-communicate, you know your reason. You know your purpose, why you're communicating in the first place. Para hindi ka malito while you're communicating. So, kumbaga, you have such one goal. So, with that being said, meron kang focus. Naka-focus ka sa isang bagay, which is yung goal mo. Okay? Next. Okay, so next we have people who are involved with this purposive communication. Okay, so number one we have Kuntz and O'Donnell, wherein according to them, purposive communication is an intercurse. So when we say intercurse sa Tagalog, pinagsama-sama. So ano ba yung pinagsama-sama? So the words, the letters, the symbols, or messages, okay? And is a way that one organization member shares meaning. So ibig sabihin lamang yan, in one organization, there is such one member wherein he or she will share his thoughts or ideas to the other members so that the other members will be able to understand the whole thing. So it is like hindi niya pababayaan na merong ibang members ang hindi makagets. Okay? Next we have Newman and Summer. So according to them, purposive communication is an exchange of facts, ideas, opinions, or emotion by two or more person. So, in short, it is like debate. Okay, so kumbaga from one side to another, they are exchanging their ideas and thoughts at the same time wherein they will be able to learn from one another, which is very healthy talaga no in terms of communication. Kasi in terms of communication, it's exchanging information with one another will lead to a betterment. Okay, betterment in terms of communication na ikaw matututo ka and at the same time, yung pinagsesendan mo na information will also learn from you. So, kumbaga, quits, ika nga nila. Okay, next we have Alan Lewis. Okay? So according to Alan Lewis, communication is sum of all things a person does when he wants to create understanding in the minds of others. And also it involves a systematic and continuous process of telling and understanding. So sabi dyan ni Alan Lewis, communication daw, or to be exact, purposive communication involves systematic. So when we say systematic, it do have a process wherein that process should be followed in the first place. So it is like si first step hindi siya pwedeng mapunta sa third step. And si third step hindi siya pwedeng mapunta sa first step. And also Alan Lewis mean dun sa sum of all things a person does is that it is like he is being general. Okay, kumbaga ino-over all niya ang kanyang sagot para na rin sa nakakarami. Kasi sometimes being general, like speaking in general is good rather than being specific. Okay? Next we have yan. So, let's now move on to the importance of communication. So, as we all know, communication have been really important to us, okay, especially for the betterment of our country. So, it is like kapag mayroong mga miscommunication, of course, it will lead to conflict. And that conflict will lead sometimes to, let's say, fight. Like, one side, hindi niya ma-understand ang side ng isa. And ang other side, hindi niya rin ma-understand yung isang side. So, in short, nag-aaway-away sila. And they can't really accept the opinion or the side of one another. So, the reason why is that they lack acceptance. Okay, so number one, we have the family. Okay, so we're in a family, communication is really important. It's because for them to be able that each member of the family will understand each other. So kumbaga kung si Bunso may problema, so of course his or her parents, okay, father or mother, is matutulungan niya or matutulungan nila rather yung anak nila. Okay? Especially ang mga bata more on they're really emotional kumbaga. Okay? Next we have the education. Of course, aside from students, diba, na they really need to communicate. So let's say to their classmates and of course teachers. But also in education it involves the teachers. Like how will the teachers will communicate to their co-teachers, their co-faculties, their co-staff, and of course boss or like principal, something like that. Okay, next we have the work. Okay, work wherein each people should have a good manner. So kumbaga sa work, alam mo dapat kung paano itrato ang iyong mga katrabaho. Like kung paano sila kausapin in the first place, especially yung mga nasa taas. So what do I mean is yung mga boss. But of course in work it doesn't mean na kapag ang iyong ka-workmate is mababa ang posisyon sa iyo, kumbaga i-deprive mo. So that's not how it works. So kumbaga you will treat all of your co-workmates equal. Mapaboss man yan, mapababa man sa iyo, or mataas man sa iyo yan. So in short, equality. Okay? Next we have the coordination, or in short, we'll have a teamwork. Okay? So kumbaga through communication and coordination, it will result to being synchronized kumbaga. Okay? Next we have in terms of decision making, it is like if you're doubtful or not really sure, of course you can communicate your friends, your close friends, best friends, and of course your family or your loved ones, wherein they will be able to help you to decide more better kumbaga sa kung ano man yung magiging decision mo. Okay, so it is like having a guidance from them. Okay, next we have Yeah, so next we have the two types of communication. So actually you have two. So the first one is the verbal, okay, and the other one is non-verbal. Okay? So in verbal, it is the ability to communicate using words or sa Tagalog, mga salita. So obviously, ang magandang example dito is verbally or kung anong ginagawa ko ngayon. So I am speaking verbally. Ito yun, I'm using words. Okay? On the other hand, the non-verbal, kung si verbal is more on words, si non-verbal is ability to communicate without using words. So in short, you're still communicating to others but without using words. So ang magandang example dito is actually gestures. Okay, so when we say gestures, it is the movement of our hands. So something like this. So in short, where you move your hands or hand, it do have a meaning. It do have a particular meaning. Okay? Next. Okay, so next, let's proceed to types of verbal communication. Okay, so the first one, we have the evasive communication. Okay, so when we say evasive communication, from the word evasive, evade, so in short, ina-avoid niya ang particular situation. It is like, kung pinag-uusapan nila ay pera, ipupunta niya sa ibang topic. So that's evasive communication. Ina-avoid niya yung particular na communication na yun. So in short, ayaw niyang pag-usapan. Okay? Next, we have the jargon. Jargon communication is a language used by personnel in a particular field. So in short, in every particular field, or to be exact, professional field, they do have particular words that they are using. Kumbaga, sa doctor and teacher, they have respective words wherein kung yung profession sa teacher, they do have the word like this. In medical, they do have word like that. Is that magkakaiba yun ng meaning. Okay, so kumbaga, kung sa teacher, meron ang meaning nun is magsulat. Sa medical, it can be another meaning. Okay, that's why jargon. That's why it is being used in a particular field kasi they do have such purpose. Okay? Next, we have the argot communication, which is used by various groups. Actually, magandang example dito is gays, wherein they use gay lingo, wherein they will able to understand one another. I'm talking about gays. So they use gay lingo. Okay? Next, we have the abstract communication. So abstract communication is a language used to discuss ideas. So one good example of abstract communication is brainstorming. Okay? Wherein they will share his or her ideas in a small group. Okay? Like students kapag magre-report sila. Okay, next we have the overlay abstract communication. So when we say overlay abstract communication, it leaves too much room for interpretation. So magandang example dito is that story or movie wherein there are a lot of possible endings, kumbaga. Like, yung tao na kung bahala kung paano niya i-interpret yung ending. So in short, magkakaiba ang tao dito depending on his or her approach. Okay? Of course, base rin yun sa kanyang idea. Okay? Next, we have so if we have 5 elements, of course, ng verbal, meron din tayo sa non-verbal. Okay? So first, we have the paralanguage. Okay? So when we say paralanguage, or in other term, vocalics, okay, so it is used to modify or convey meaning. And usually, paralanguage can either conscious or non-conscious. And also, it involves the usage of pitch, volume, stress, okay, of course, by the user or the speaker. Okay, next we have the proxemics. Okay, so when we say proxemics, it has something to do with the distance. Okay, yung layo, yung gap, kung gaano kalayo. Okay, next we have the chronemics. Okay, so when we say chronemics, kung si proxemics has something to do with the distance, okay, so chronemics naman on the other hand has something to do with the time, oras. Okay, like magandang example dito actually is messenger. Like nagchat ka sa prof mo and then hindi agad siya nakapag-reply. So ano ibig sabihin nun? So maybe busy siya or anything. So in short, in chronemics, if that's the case, you should be considerable. Okay, like you should considerate the other party kung bakit, like let's say, delay ang kanyang reply. Okay. Next, we have the haptics. Okay. So when we say haptics, it has something to do with touch. Okay, sense of touch. Like simpleng paghawak, it do have a meaning. Like akbay. Kunyari, akbay sa iyong kaibigan. So in short, akbay can means that nakikiramay siya for you. Let's say, meron kang problema. Okay, so that's how haptics work. Okay? Next we have the 6 C's of communication according to Herbert, Hildebrandt, and Jane Thomas. Okay, so the first one is completeness. Okay, so kabuuan. Like, buo ba yung thought or kulang ba? Okay, in such a way na maiintindihan agad ng bata if talagang complete ang iyong thought, or I'm talking about communication. Okay, next we have the conciseness, wherein it can be really related to number 1, but when we say conciseness, complete ang kanyang thought or topic, but ito ang importante dito, with a few usage of words. So kumbaga, very brief. Maiksi lang siya, but at the same time, malaman. Okay? Short, but very meaningful. Okay? That's conciseness. Okay, next we have the consideration. Okay, so when we say consideration, it has something to do, of course, with being considerate. Like, kino-consider mo ba ang kanyang status? Kino-consider mo ba ang kanyang kalagayan? Okay, so that's being considerate or being considerate sa iyong kausap, or in short, consideration. Okay, next we have the correctness. Okay, correctness wherein it has something to do with right usage of, it can be your words, your thoughts, ideas, like na-place ba siya sa tamang lugar, na-place ba siya sa tamang oras. Okay, next we have the clarity. Okay, so when we say clarity, kalinawan. Okay, so in short, being clear. Okay, so kasi when you're being cleared, of course, mas madali maintindihan niya ng bata or ng iyong kausap or the receiver itself. Okay? And lastly, we have the courtesy, wherein ito ang pinaka-importante, no? Like, let's say, complete, very concise, you're being considerate, correct ang usage mo ng words, the timing, the clarity, malinaw, but if the manner of your delivery is not good, babagsak at babagsak yan. So in short, courtesy is a must. Okay, courtesy is a must in communication. Okay? So kumbaga, gandahan mo pag-deliver, gandahan mo ang pagsalita. Okay, so kulang ang pagiging matalino kung wala ka nitong courtesy.